Afternoon. Welcome to another session. This is the Friday gig guide, and today it's a bit different. As you can see, I have beautiful ladies with me. So today the spotlight is on them. First things first, let's do introductions. So I'll start with Thapelo and then Mpho. Yes, Thapelo and then Mpho.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Thapelo Moshe. I'm a football player. I play for University of Botswana ladies team. I'm a defender.
Mpho?
Okay, thank you so much for your invitation. My name is Mpo. I am a regular of this wonderful sports show. I love sports and I'm a sports fan, particularly motor sports. So thank you so much for having me this afternoon.
So, Mpho, I think today we are going to do things a little bit different. Since that whether you are a regular and we have Thapelo who's a football player. I think so. Today we are more like going to co-host. So, Thapelo, can you take us through your journey in football? Which team do you play for currently at the moment, and how did you get to play football?
Okay. I started off at primary. I think I was doing standard 5. That's when they introduced ladies soccer. I was schooling for Maporisa Primary School. So I played and then I went for junior school at Pandagala Junior. That's when I got my first national call-up at under 15. I later switched to under 17, under 20, and then under 23, and then call-up for 2 call-ups for senior national team. I started my first team to sign me up was Mexican Girls. By then they were called Lulu. I was doing Form 4 in 2012. So I played for them for 2 years. And then 2014 I joined University of Botswana ladies team, which is the team that I'm currently playing for.
Okay, and then Mpho, feel free to chip in if you have any questions for her. And then Thapelo, from my end, playing football is something that you usually don't wake up and say, "Yeah, ball." There has to be a bit of inspiration, or a particular game, and you'd want to go and play. When in your case, where did the inspiration come from?
I grew up with boys. So how about I make a 2-pal? Then I ended up trying Lebone for the tank and like Lebon. Then I realized it's a game that I love. So maybe I should follow it. But the greatest inspiration came from Deep Sea. I think it was in 2008. It was a game against Mauritania where we won 2-1. If I'm not mistaken, yes. And I said, when I grow up, I want to be like this person. So yeah, he has been a great motivation.
Oh, okay. Then Mpho, any questions for our guest?
Yes, I want to believe that we looking at the status quo of football in Botswana. As in like in terms of soccer in Botswana, the perception that we have in terms of football, the perception that we have as people in terms of football, ladies football is not taken that much seriously. So I want to know some of the challenges that you guys go through. You know, you are saying that you have played for under 13, under 17 national teams. I want to know what are some of the challenges in terms of ladies soccer and yourself as a person that you currently go through, and what do you think can be done to improve ladies soccer, the perception that we have as particularly in Botswana.
Okay, like you said, women's football is not as popular and is not taken serious as the men's football. So as ladies, we go through many challenges that so many talented players end up quitting before reaching their peak or their greatest level of performance because of some certain factors. I'll mention a few. Lack of sponsorship. Our league has been running for so long without sponsorship. And as you all know, sponsorship is a form of motivation. So how can I sponsor participation alone? Yeah, so we inquire many challenges as ladies, but only a few can manage to hold on, and we pray for better days as well. So the challenges that we go through mostly kamadi, and currently the league is only in Gaborone and in Francistown, but those leagues are not sponsored. So there is talent from junior schools, senior schools, and then tertiary. There is talent, and I believe with a great sponsor, our league would be a success.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and then Horeana, you had mentioned you were called up to the national team, but due to school commitments, you couldn't go. How have you been? How have you been training? You had mentioned you headed school. If you get a call up, how have you been training? Keep with all this that has happened now, cancer, corona, and stuff like that. How have you been keeping fit?
Oh, okay. I completed in 2018 December. Then 2019 I started my internship Kototume. Later on I transferred here to Marina so that I can be back to playing because I was not able to commute every Friday to come for games here. Also, not gaming. I was not getting my normal game time because network is a training team. But for now, I think things are gonna change. Since we started the year 2020, I started on a good note, and our team currently are the women's champs because the team is committed and we did a lot that not everyone does, and it made us winners. And also we have great coaches whom I believe are the best, and the other we have small kids, we have amateurs, we have Baraka Rinke Elite. So I believe get training enough, and if I'm to get a national call up now, I wouldn't be much disturbed or worried because they are not more work environment. I'm sure they'll understand being a worker and being an athlete, but at national duty, I think it won't be a problem. So I think I won't have any problems now.
Okay. Paul?
All right. I would want to know. You had earlier mentioned on that many women are actually being demotivated to actually participate in the sports, looking at the issues of sponsorship you had highlighted earlier on. So I want you to, in your own opinion, and as somebody who has been playing the sport, what do you think could be done to actually motivate women to actually get into the sport? In terms of what do you think could be done to women to, despite the fact that there's no money and there are no sponsors and all that, what do you think can motivate women and what do you think should be done? at individual level to motivate women to actually come into the sport?
Come again. I can't hear the question well.
Yes, I was saying you earlier mentioned that many women are not motivated to actually participate in the sport. So I would want to know, what do you think we could do to actually motivate women to actually participate in the sport? You mentioned about money and being an issue. So what do you think women can that issue of perception and all that? This is a sport for women. So some women are not even afraid to actually take part in the sport because of the perception of that this is a men's sport. So what do you think we could do at individual level?
Okay,
Can you hear me?
Yes, I think to nature and to groom. The sponsors should talent scouts, attend the games from junior schools, Banna Lebo, Bisa, Bo, Coca-Cola championships. So they should go and watch and actually motivate those ones, because it's easy to teach Mwana Hale Munyani than Haseta Hudile. So by sponsoring those small events, those kids would hold on until they're older enough. So Hat and Akobo Senior School and Abai actually I can make a living out of football. It's a really school and continue with football, but you can do both and be successful both if you know the value that's when it's all had. So I seriously advise sponsors to do talent scouts. That's the only thing I think can be done. And then I'd encourage ladies to have an image, right? Read so that everyone can want to associate with us.
Yeah, we seem to have lost Mpo, but she'll reconnect. You mentioned how you are a defender.
Yes.
Why defense? Is there someone who you look up to say, Nyami? I would want to play like Maguire. I would want to play like Vincent Company. Why defense?
Okay, I started off as a Ketamika 7. That's where my nickname comes from. 7. But national teaming, I was shifted to right back by Mr. Abasiani. And then I got comfortable, got defensing. I later on played 4, 5. And when I get Koyubi, I use both legs. So I was interchanged 2, 3, 4, or 5. So I'm naturally a defender anyway. 2, 3, 4, kind of 5. So I'm a defender Ogora. Lauka cheka score sheet. I'm defender and I need to go.
How many goals did you?
The favorite player that I look up to is Willian, who moved from Chelsea to Arsenal. That's my favorite player. So I'm going to Arsenal because no.
Okay. And then how many goals did you concede, or how many goals did your defense concede last season?
When?
Last season.
Last season, oh, okay. Last season, I started playing on January 2020. I scored 3 goals. The set piece is sorted. I scored against Rollers. I scored against Wonder Girls. And I scored against GU. So the time game is a 3 since. I mean, the time game is a from January to March. I'm not sure, but I scored 3 more games, I think. And then 2019, I didn't play well, so I have no record. And then there was 2018, I was on peak. I think I had many goals. I don't have a count, but Nike top.
Mpo?
Yes, I don't know if you had asked this question when I wasn't able to hear. I want to know what are some of your highlights of your career in soccer. What are the things that you would never forget?
My highlight of my sport career.
Highlights, as in something that has been part of that has happened that you will never forget, or something like that.
Oh, okay. So when I was schooling Gobo, but I played for B. So there came a time when we were playing against each other. So I was playing against my teammates. And for the 5 years, 4 years, 5 years that I was schooling Gobo, you been in Nairesha until 2018. That year I was very determined that, I need results. And we were working so hard with my girls from then got top 4 championship. We drew, we went for penalties, and we won. So we got gold medal for Botesa top 4. I was very proud because I played against my teammates, I played against my coach, and I won. So that was the greatest highlight of my career because I'm capable of anything.
So Relor your national team call-up has a highlight for you. Relor, your national team call-up has one of your biggest highlights.
My national team call-up highlights. 2014 when we went for Zone 6 under 20 games in Zimbabwe, and I didn't play the first game against South Africa and against Zimbabwe the last minute, and I scored winning goal at winning 5-2, and I scored the winning goal. Also, under 17 Kosasa in 2012 for Namibia, I was the captain, and I scored a goal against a brilliant set piece against Zimbabwe. And which other one do I remember very well? Yeah, those two.
Okay. And then so looking at your national team call-ups that you are getting, your experience that you got from your under 15, 17, and 23. What do you envision about your playing career going forward? What do you want to see happen?
What's the question again?
With your playing career right now, what do you want to see happen? Do you want to play outside? Do you want to become a coach? Do you want to become a scout? What's the plan moving forward?
Hey, I can't hear you well. Wakat.
Okay. Moving forward, what's your plan? Do you want to play outside the country? Do you want to play? Do you want to be a coach? Do you want to be a scout?
Oh, okay. Actually, I wanted to be the very first Botswana woman to play for American League or anywhere outside the country, because I'd love to go for school to continue my bachelor's degree, to do master's or a different qualification. But added to that, I wanted to sign up for a big team. Yeah.
Okay. Paul, maybe you can add a few questions before we release our guests.
Okay. I want to, you had earlier on mentioned the issue. I thought we could maybe go into deeper into improving the sports. That's where my cry is, you know, where I would like to see women's soccer getting traction. Look at South Africa and all that. I don't know what can you say? Maybe it's someone who is the gatekeeper in terms of soccer in Botswana is listening to us right now. So I want to say, what would you like to say to them? What do you think they should do? That I believe you have thought in terms of things that you like to see happening in your code, you know, your what you in the sport that you are currently playing. So what do you think should be done? You know, except the issue of sponsorship and other challenges that you had highlighted earlier on.
I think in the long run, maybe we should have school of excellencies, where young girls who happen to have the talent can go there and do football part-time. Ba sa tlogele sekolo, ba nna mo sekolong, go na le coach, ba tshameka, mme ebile gape ba tsena sekolo. Because I believe football and education, they both have to go hand in hand. How ka tshameka bolo o sa rute? What if you get mad and there is no one to pay the bills? But if you are educated, it's something that you have for a long run. So how you still can go to work, or you can use your education to make money. And also I feel despite challenge Amadi, we should be taught, or young girls should be taught about financial literacy, so that they can have the knowledge of how to make it, or how to live life after football career, because career raya football is short. So you have to do it from here up to there, and then after that you have to have a way of how to sustain your living. Also, I think they should be how do you put it? It should be a platform where women in sports get to interact and discuss their daily challenges, their ways of overcoming those, and the way forward in sports. And I think football should be started from a very young age, like I've said. Yes.
Okay. Mpo, in wrapping up our conversation with Thapelo, I don't know if you have any parting words before we release her.
Okay, generally it's not a question, but it's a kind of a motivation to them and us generally as soccer or fans or everybody else, and the gatekeepers and those who are administrating football in Botswana. I believe that we really need to. I'm looking at a lot of countries, Brazil, South Africa, just as close to us. They are really taking ladies soccer very seriously, and we are seeing even South Africa competing in World Cups and all that. So I believe that we also need to improve as far as possible. She was talking about, look at League Hela, sponsorship. How are we going to be able to develop the sport? And she also mentioned a very important part where she said there needs to be development. As much as there is development, let's also give the same attention to women. You will never know who could also have the same. We could also have our women participating in World Cup. Zabras has struggled to do that. Maybe our ladies can be able to do such things. So I believe that we really need to take it seriously. We need to put money into it. We need to start from development, generally like that.
Thapelo, I think that concludes our discussion. Thank you for joining us and sharing your football experience. Hopefully we'll get to interact again. So yeah, thank you from all of us. I think we lost her there, but that's okay. Mpo,
Yes.
what's happening this weekend?
In terms of motorsport or Formula One.
Formula
Yes.
One, I think so. There's been a disturbance with training, and stuff.
Yes.
So, what does that mean for the weekend race?
The weekend race is currently ongoing. We are having the EFL Grand Prix in Germany in the town of Nürburgring. Yes. So we are expecting it's going to be a wonderful weekend. As you have already said that we are expecting rain showers in the city. This is going to be the only, I think, in 2020. This is the Grand Prix, which is going to have a different weather, where we are going to be expecting showers. That 40% chances of rainfall in Germany this coming weekend, or this weekend. Yes. So it had already resumed this morning with practice sessions, session 1 and 2 this on Friday, and tomorrow we're going to have practice. And then we are going to have the qualifying. And Sunday we are going to be having the race. So in a case where we're looking at the cases where that if the rainfall could actually be a hindrance, there are possibilities of it being postponed, but they haven't come to that. To the directors of Formula One, they haven't really come to that that point. So we are assuming that we are going to continue this weekend, because they haven't mentioned that those rainfalls could actually affect the race this weekend. So
Okay.
we are in EFL, Germany, which started today.
Okay, and then I get now. I saw an update like before we started the show. Qualifying was suspended until further notice.
The what?
The qualifying, the practice sessions, they've been suspended.
I'm not aware of that that comment.
Yeah, before we started, there was an update. All practice sessions have been put on hold. I think it was due to the weather, like you said.
Did they mention when are they going to, or they're going to take it to another day? Because in instances, if there was rainfall for the practice sessions today, I remember there's one Grand Prix where the qualifiers were not, I think the Hungarian Grand Prix, not this year. At one point, there was rainfall that actually affected the qualifying race, not the practice session. So it was taken to Sunday, and then the finals were on Monday. So I don't know if you mean the practice sessions have been postponed. I'm not aware of that that notice.
Yeah,
I haven't been able to see that.
Yeah, I saw it a bit.
Did they mention when are they?
Yeah,
I don't know if you have the message there.
Yeah, I have the headline. Yeah, bad weather at the Nürburgring prevents any running in the first practice.
In the first practice.
Yeah.
For the first practice. The first practice was supposed to be at, I wasn't aware because I haven't been able to check the messages today. So if the first practice has been, it doesn't mean the race has been postponed on itself. So the practice session has affected the rain has affected the first practice this morning. So maybe it will be postponed to this evening, yes. So I don't know if we could conclude that the Grand Prix would be postponed for this weekend, because it's possibilities of it taken to another day or taken. Yes.
That's the update that we
in
got.
the first practice.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah. So the first practice has been postponed. Yes.
Yeah. No, continue.
Okay, I was saying in that case, I'm not sure what they had, the FIA had decided to do, but we cannot conclude. I think some people get confused to say, is the Grand Prix postponed or itself? No, it hasn't been postponed. It's the practice session for the morning, looking at the weather. So the weather may have quite a number of effects this weekend at Germany, but we cannot conclude to say it will be cancelled altogether for now. So we take it to say we are continuing this weekend.
Okay. Mpo, in wrapping up, I don't know. We'll get to break down the German Grand Prix next week, and I hope you'd have another guest to join us. And I think for now, let's just sign out, and we'll meet again next week for updates. And I don't know, maybe Thapelo wants to join in and say her goodbyes, and then we can wrap up.
Okay. Thank you so much for having me this weekend for the Geek Guides. And like you said, we'll meet again next week. And we hope that we'll have the EFL Grand Prix in Germany this weekend. So as we could also be happy. We don't know, I'm not sure about EPL this weekend. I just we have the Everton in football. So that's what we have.
Yeah. So with football, it's the international break. So any leagues that are in play this weekend. Yeah. So I think that's that.
I think we are starting on the 18th.
18th or 20th. Yeah, I think I'm not sure what we're league, but
for now.
Yeah. So Mpo,
18th,
as always.
yeah. I think the 17th, 18th. I was just checking the dates.
Okay.
Yes.
So Mpo, let's wrap it up. Thank you for joining me once again, and we'll get to interact next week again when we break down the German Grand Prix. Till we meet again next week, we are signing out. Have yourselves a beautiful weekend.
Bye.
Thank you for joining us, guys. That's the lunch break show. We concluding the week, and thank you again to Thapelo, our guest, who we lost along the way. But thank you for joining us, and we'll see you again next week. Bye.